Hello, my little acorn crop. I thought it was time. Time to meet Finnevar, the horse in question. Actually, the half horse, half camel. You can see it. She's getting ready to spit. Look at that. She's already got spit all over her nostril. Actually, horses don't spit like camels, which was why my little joke of the half horse, half camel. She does have an annoying habit of retaining saliva in her mouth and then releasing it, which resembles spitting. And she was bit in the neck by a mule. And I'll get to that story, and maybe that's why she spits. I don't know. I had a veterinarian out to check it, not once, but twice. And the vet didn't feel that there was any issue, that the two things were even connected. Which both things are kind of amusing, because since I board my horse, and I don't like boarding my horse, but since I do board my horse, yeah, I get phone calls about how she's spitting, how she's coughing up phlegm, how she's vomiting, and how her neck's all swollen up, and which both are things that, she's had for years. So, and I've had her since she was like 6, I think, and she's 18 now. And yeah, well, and she's a BLM Mustang, which is one of the ones adopted from the federal government, from the Bureau of Land Management, with the brand to prove it, which I will post a picture since it never shows up in this video because it's right under her mane there and you can't see it. I'm trying to get her to go do horse things and run around, but she wants to hang out with me for the moment. And there's the dent. You can just see it. It's kind of hard to see, but she comes up a little closer, you can see it. And she's a third-hand Mustang, meaning I didn't adopt her, which I would really like to try my hand at adopting a Mustang. This is my second BLM Mustang. Yeah, so she was adopted by somebody who fell on hard times and needed dog food, somehow ascertained that their dogs were more important than the horse. I'm not sure. And traded her for dog food, which I found kind of amusing and ironic. And then the people I got her from were trying to breed mules. And the way you get a mule, sorry, I don't know my audience on this, so you might already know this, but the way you get a mule, you have a female horse and you breed her to a jackass or a, fully functional male donkey, and their offspring is a mule. And it's sterile. You can't breed two mules together and get more mules. But interestingly, which I didn't know until a few years ago, that if you breed a stallion, which is a male horse, to a female donkey, which is a jenny ass, you get a henny. So, didn't know that. Anyway, so this is how a jackass bit her in the neck, as I'm sure during the mating process. And the reason they sold her to me was because they couldn't get her pregnant. So her glamorous life as a broodmare was cut short. And she has not had any offspring that I'm aware of. And I'm not sure what they were trying to do, because they had a black mare and they had her. So I think they were trying to get black mules. I don't know. Finn's not actually black. She's kind of a roan. A blue roan, which is... A roan is supposed to look like a horse that's like maybe got snow on its back, but that's its natural coat color. And she never roaned out. She just looks black in pictures and in video, which she actually has little white hairs throughout her coat, but they never got thick enough. But she has the stupid roan skin, as I like to call it, where it's kind of mottled, spotty, and sensitive to like flies and in the summertime and stuff like that. Her eyes will puff up. That's the other thing about Mustangs is I've only had 2 of the BLM ones, and both of them had really soft skin, so it's really easy to work up a raw spot on them, from a cinch or something that rubbing against them. So definitely have to be a little more careful with your equipment with them but granted, since I haven't had a ton of Mustangs, I don't know. I just know from the 2 that I have had. Would I recommend a Mustang? Depends on your experience level. For a novice, absolutely not. For somebody who's been handling horses for a while, intermediate to experienced, yeah, I would recommend them. I think they're really great horses. They're really smart horses, and I think that kind of lead, is to their detriment in some cases because they're so clever, that they'll outsmart their rider. I think Arabians have the same problem, is they're pretty smart and they outsmart their riders, and then you end up with this problem. So because horses are always testing you. They're always pushing the limit. They're always trying to see, oh, well, if I get away with, eating on the trail ride today, maybe I can get away with it tomorrow a couple more times. And then next thing you know, you've got a horse that's just kind of, going to the buffet while you're riding them, which, slows down the whole ride process. It makes it harder to keep up and stuff like that. So So they're always testing, always. So I was out treating her, and she was in the wash rack, which is one of those things that I don't like. That you find them readily enough. At a stables like this, there's wash racks, which I'm not sure how to describe it. It's kind of like a shower stall, sort of. It's got rails that would be in a U shape that would be extending along the sides of the horse's body, and typically it's on a cement slab. You can see her itching. She's still kind of got some raw spots from the cellulitis, so she's itching. But still treating it. She's getting better. She's, definitely went from those other parts of the video, you could see that she's grown all of her hair in. Anyway, back to the wash rack. Usually it's on a cement slab. Sometimes it's got rubber over it. And these are one of these kind of draconic things I don't like using. I mean, they have their place because I've been using it with her. And the reason I'm using it is just because I don't want to have a big mud puddle wherever she is. And, well, as a YouTuber I recently started watching, the Barn Witches, decided that she could only be washed at a particular wash rack because cellulitis is so contagious, which it's not. Google it, my friends. It's not contagious. It is something that even humans get, and when humans get it, it's not contagious. Anyway, I'm not bitter at all. But anyway, back to the story at hand. So I'm using this wash rack, and I'm trying to get to this whole thing there. It's a teaching moment. There are lots and lots of teaching moments with horses. Lots. And so sometimes when you go out there to do something with them, something that you think, oh yeah, I'm going to go for a 30-minute ride, ends up being like 2 hours because something happens on the trail. They're afraid of something, or, you got to work with them on something, or, something like that. So I was trying to get her out of the wash rack, and she decided she didn't want to back out of the wash rack because it was muddy behind her, and what else? Oh, and the hose was behind her, and I think she thought the hose was a snake. So, and then it became okay, well, I've got to, work with her and get her out to back out of the wash rack, into the mud, over the fake snake, And my husband, who was with me, is like, come on, let's go. We've got other things to do. Come on. And I'm like, no, it's a teaching moment. Now we're just going to die here from starvation until she decides to back up. So, that's how it goes. I hope that you enjoyed meeting her, and I hope that you enjoyed me prattling along. I don't know if I'm going to do many more horse videos because opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one. Well, it's definitely true with horse people, and definitely true with the barn witches. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll do some more videos with Finn. And on a final thought, there are no problem horses. There are only horses with people problems. But with that, good night, America, wherever you are.